Hey guys, I want to make a quick video on everything I've done to my 92 Bass Tracker Tournament TX17. Bought this boat bone stock about 8 months ago from the original owner. I've had a few boats through the years, bow riders and pontoons, but this is my first dedicated fishing boat. I noticed there weren't really a lot of detailed write-ups or videos or anything like that. Mostly they were on the newer Bass Tracker models. I was struggling to find content kind of specific to these older TX17 models. Hopefully some of you guys who own these older models will find this helpful. I'm gonna go ahead and start up front here with a trolling motor. This is a 2022 Minn Kota Terrova. It's a 45-inch shaft, 55-pound thrust, and it's a 12-volt motor. Would love to have gone to a 24 volt, but got this from a buddy for an incredible deal, so I just couldn't pass it up. It's mounted with one of the Minn Kota quick release brackets. It's the metal bracket with the thumb screw. And what I did with this was actually drilled and tapped an extra 1/4 inch 20 hole here. What that allows me to do is slide the motor back and forth. And so when it's in a stowed position, it's not hanging over the front of the boat. Then when I get to the boat launch, I can pull that thumb screw out, push the motor forward, screw it back in, and it just gives me some flexibility as far as when I'm approaching docks or trailering. As far as transducers go, I got the GT54 up here at the front. I use the cable lock method to mount this. So this is about a 6-foot bike cable lock. This is $6-7 at Walmart. And it's mounted with a 5-inch U-bolt here. I use 2 nylon lock washer or lock nuts to set the depth. One thing you want to be aware of is you don't want it to protrude too far in right here, or you're gonna inhibit the ability of the motor to slide back and forth. But it's worked out really well. Motor can spin well over 360 degrees in either direction. No binding, nothing like that. And I've been running it this way for a couple months now, and it's worked out really well. I've also got a C-size ram ball here with the long arm and the tough claw. Gives a little extra stability when I'm running on rough water or trailer in the boat, just to take a little stress off this front deck. As far as electronics go, I've got a 106 SV here at the top, 93 SV on the bottom. 106 runs live scope. The 93 runs mapping and 2D and down scan. As far as mounting, I've got a Ram 109 mount. What I did was I got an extra extension here. That gives me some adjustability to be able to move these graphs further forward towards the front seat if I want to get the live screen or live scope screen a little bit closer. What I did to mount this was used a precision sonar poor man's stack kit, and really only took a little modification. All of the factory screws here at the 106 lined up. I just had to punch 4 new screw holes through here to get the 93 installed. On the left right here, I've got the extra GT54 transducer cable coiled up, and then there on the right, I've got a 6-foot marine network cable that links the 106 here with the 93. And I've got a 20-foot marine network cable that runs up the side right here to the 106 at the console, so that all these graphs are networked together. Also for the Terrova, I installed Minn 70 amp plug-in receptacle. Super solid connection, very easy to install. It's worked great so far. For the live scope setup, I've got a LVS 32. Then I made my own pole mount, and so that is a 1-inch PVC, and it's inside of a 1 1/4 inch PVC pipe. Again, I've got another 1 1/2 inch Ram ball mount here, the medium arm, a couple U-bolts, and just ran some electrical tape over them. Painted everything black, give it a nice uniform look. And then for cable management, I've got these Alex Tech sleeves. They're very similar to a rod sock. And I pulled them up here, ran them with the rest of my bundle, and then just used those same Velcro ties that I used to mount the Garmin graph covers. Right here, I just drilled an extra hole. The transducer termination, if you will, that goes to the black box is pretty large, so gave it its own pass through there. I've also got a Atwood extendable and adjustable seat post here with a Wise casting seat. I find the tracker ones to be a little bit bulky, so this has worked really well to give me a little extra space up front. If I'm standing up and I'm casting all day, I'll even remove that just to give myself extra space up here on the deck. One thing to note up here at the front with the Terrova is that when you install it this way, you will cover up your factory bow mount or bow lights. And so I just bought some new bow lights. So I'll run one somewhere up here, one on the other side. And then I've got these kind of Amazon special floodlights. They'll mount outboard of the bow lights, just so if I'm running at night. Don't have them installed yet. They only come with a 1-inch mounting screw with this front deck being 1-inch thick. I've got to go get some 1.5-inch bolts. And then also on this 109 mount, I've got a metal mounting plate for some extra support underneath, along with some 1.25-inch fender washers. So if you come on back, the console, I've got a 106 SV back here as well. Below that, you see the Minn Kota heading puck. That allows you to use your spotlight jog. A lot of people say don't run power all that close to it, but I've not had any issues. And I've just got it wired up to this accessory switch here. So you flip that on, puck comes on. Also added 3 more toggle switches here. One on the left will be for the headlights, so to speak, the front mount floodlights. The middle one is tied to my trolling motor battery, and it's also connected to a little USB charger I have down here. I can charge my phone, whatever else I need, and then it's also got a voltage display, so I can always keep an eye on the voltage of my trolling motor battery. And then this toggle switch on the right is what runs this console-mounted 106, as I've got that one tied into my cranking battery. So when I get to the water, I can go ahead and flip that on, get my maps up and running without having to give power to everything up front. As far as the front electronics, get a little light. I've got a fuse block mounted over there on the right, like a 6-circuit fuse block, and then my black box is mounted right next to it. Then on this side, I've got a Blue Seas on-off kill switch. Just flip that on, provides power over to that fuse block, and that fuse block powers the black box. The 106 and the 93 that are up at the console got 8-gauge wire running up to that fuse block, and then 8-gauge running from that fuse block to the 106, and 10-gauge up to the 93. Keep moving back. I've got a factory Bass Tracker seat. I did put the little bit longer Atwood extension pole on this one. Factory one's a little short unless you're 5'5" or under. Back behind here, I've got a Johnson 60 horsepower 2-stroke factory prop. I'm gonna push this boat 33, 35 miles an hour or so. And then down here, kind of hard to see, but I've got a GT56 transducer, and that runs to the 106 at the console. I've got the heavy duty metal transducer mount with the splash guard. Allows infinite adjustability, so you can get depth readings at, you know, pretty much any speed. Then I've got it mounted with a little transom saver stern block, and it's basically a piece of cutting board. It is about 12 inches long, so I had to cut it down because there's a little bit of curvature to these transoms, but I've got it mounted with a two number 8 bolts through the hole, and then some 4200 to seal it up. And then in this rear deck right here, got all my batteries, gas tank. So it's a 13-gallon gas tank. And then here the battery is the one at the top, is the trolling motor battery. It's a Group 29 Everstart Marine Max. It runs trolling motor and that USB charging port up at the front. One at the bottom is the dedicated electronics battery, so that's the 8-gauge wiring. It's fused right under here, runs up to that fuse block at the front. Then right up this way, I've got another Everstart Marine Group 24 cranking battery for the big motor, all my lights, bilge, live well, and then the 106 that's at the console. And as we move up this way, we'll go ahead and step into the boat. Up here at the front, what I did was removed the factory trolling motor receptacle, and that's the power cable for the 106 that runs up through that. I've got tilt trim up and down. The down switch went out. I put a little grommet in there. Realistically, I only will ever trim the motor up from the front of the boat. I'll never put it down from up here, so it works well enough for now. The Minn Kota plug for the Terrova. And there you can see the other Ram C-size ball. That's what the 93 SV was originally mounted to, but on these trackers, this front piece right here is pretty thin aluminum. And so I was getting a lot of play back and forth, and that's what kind of led me to the Ram 109 and precision sonar setup that I'm currently running. Over here is my tackle storage. So in all those cases, I keep all my plastics, extra line, scale. Then in this tote right here towards the back, this is where I keep all my hard baits. So I'm bass fishing. I got crankbaits, chatterbaits, all that good stuff in there. Some extra towels, and then the foot pedal for the Terrova. Underneath me, this is where I keep all my cold weather gear. So I got extra jackets, gloves, hot hands, extra life jacket, and then I've also got 2 river anchors in there. And at the front of the boat, I've got a mount for the river anchor. And at the rear, I've got another mount. So what that allows me to do is just if I've got like a strong cross breeze or there's some strong current going on, I can set those out without having to use the spot lock if somebody's fishing off the front and the back of the boat. Gives me a little flexibility. And then with the C-size ram mount here for the trolling motor, I can also move the live scope pole over to this side. So if we're looking out this way, gives a little bit better, easy use. The reason I laid everything out this way is where I'm sitting right now is usually where I do any reties if I break off. So that way I've got all of my terminal tackle and baits here. Right here, I've got line cutters, scissors, you know, lighter, all miscellaneous stuff. And we got this rod holder right here on my side. So put the pole in here, pull extra line out, and I can retie my lap pretty easily. It's worked out really well. This is a 3-rod holder. Left side, I got my net, and then a couple extra rods in there, pliers, flathead, Phillips head screwdriver. Behind this seat, I've got my toolbox. I've got a dry box, so it's waterproof and it floats. Wallet, keys, fishing license, registration, all that good stuff. First aid kit, sunscreen, toilet paper, wipes, everything you need. Then over under this one, got my throw cushion, got another life jacket, some extra phone chargers, things like that, and a pair of gloves, just when I'm running in between spots. It's been cold around here recently, so nice to have. One thing that worked out really well was I found this cooler at Walmart, and it is a Igloo Laguna 9-quart, and it just happens to fit perfectly into the live well in front of it. And in the rear of the live well, I've got a Fraybill bait bucket, and I've got the bubble box right there. Pop it open, I got like a little upgraded aerator, all that good stuff. Right behind it, I've got a dip net because I don't like sticking my hand in the cold water during the winter. And what's really nice about this setup is that bait bucket can be taken out easily, stored wherever. Same thing, the cooler can go right up under there, and then that way I can empty out the live well, and if we're catching a bunch of crappie or something like that, I've got a place to keep them happy and keep them alive until we get them home and eat them. Behind here, I've got a little Sonos Move in case you want some tunes on the water, marker buoys, snacks, some extra water bottles. Over on this side, I've got a Minn Kota 2-bank charger. I've also got a little battery tender junior, so the Minn Kota is hooked up to the cranking battery and the trolling motor battery. Then I use the battery tender junior to charge up the electronics battery. And I've also got some Real Clean and WD-40 and 2-stroke oil and all that good stuff in there. The back here, little motor toter, is the factory one from Tracker. What's nice is you can get a replacement from Amazon for this little rubber piece. The rubber pieces tend to wear out pretty quickly compared to the metal. And so it's nice to know that you can just pop that little screw out right there, spend 17 bucks, and you got a brand new motor toter. So it's also been great. And I've got one more of these little storage compartments up here at the front. And in there, I just keep the remote for the Minn Kota iPilot. Jump down off the boat. And then that's the Quicksilver Premium Plus 2-stroke synthetic I use for my premix. No issues. Motor seems to love it. It's recommended by my mechanic. So that's what I've been running there. And I think that's about it. Factory Tracker trailer. It's been a great boat so far. Really enjoyed it. Look forward to many more years of use. And if you guys have any questions on specifics, please feel free, reach out. I'm happy to help. Tight lines, and appreciate it.